What's good, y'all? This your boy Jeff Simmons here, back at you with another episode of our brother's point of view. Now, today we're gonna talk about the question: is closure needed? So for those of you who don't know what closure is, I'm pretty sure most of you do know. But if you don't know, closure is basically something you get, basically to make you feel like an issue is resolved, or just to make you feel better. So I guess I have a video for y'all. I'm gonna actually let y'all watch it. Watch this.
Nowadays, closure is just another way of saying, let me just see if it's a second chance. Let me just see if he still love me. Let me just see if he still want me. If we're honest, we don't want to know why it's over. We want to know if you sure it's over. We don't want to know what you did wrong so you can get it better in the future. We want to know how we can make it right now. We don't want to know if they hate us or if we can be friends. We want to know if they miss us and if they really love her. See, at the end of the day, when you're done, the disrespect was enough to close it. When you're done, the disregard was enough to close it. When you're done, the depression and the misery was enough to close it. When you're done, the distance and the lack of effort was enough to close it. When you're done, you don't need nothing but the facts. So when I hear people say that they need closure, I know they're not done. And my response is the only closure you need is to stop considering words over deeds.
All right, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So he basically said closure is something that people say they need just to basically see is it really over, or if they're really over you, or if they really like the person that they moved on with. And to an extent, I agree with her. But from my point of view, I feel like right after a relationship ends, that's kind of like when you ask all these questions, unless you really don't know why it ends. That's when you start asking, okay, what happened? Why did it end? Could we have fixed it? Okay, so I feel like that's normal to have those questions right after a relationship is over. But I feel like where she's coming into play and where I agree with her, I feel like after a certain time period, or should I say time period, or maybe it might be after certain things happen, I feel like that window for closure should be gone. And I'm gonna give you a scenario. So let's say somebody, a relationship ends, right? And you have questions, um, and whatnot about what happened. If you choose not to ask right then and there, and that person moves on, and then you move on to somebody else, after that happens, I feel like there is no need for you to try to go back and see what went wrong, because you should have asked that right after the relationship ended. Um, I know people who have been in relationships, and their relationship ended, they moved on, and there's been years, and then they believe they didn't get closure from that relationship that ended previously. And I'm just like, how can you say you need closure but you moved on? I feel like when you move on, that kind of says that, okay, I've closed that door. I don't need closure. And another reason why I think closure isn't always needed, even though it's wanted, because you're not going to always get that closure that you want and or need. So my question is, if you don't get that closure, are you going to just not move on, or are you just going to stay to yourself until that person tells you, or if they tell you? Because like I said, some people never actually get closure from certain relationships and never will. So if that's the case, are you going to let that stop you from moving on with somebody else and being happy? And if not, then that would technically mean you really don't need closure. I feel like closure is more so a want than a need. Yes, closure does help us in the moving on process, so we can understand what went wrong, what we can do better, and how we can make sure it doesn't happen in our next relationship. But like I said, closure is more so a want and not a need. Um, I can't speak for anybody else. I feel like I've been in a relationship where stuff has happened and I haven't gotten closure. But it's just like, okay, at this point, I mean, it doesn't matter why it happened. I mean, what I'm gonna do about it is over. I moved on with my life, and sometimes that's just how it's got to be. You can't let that hold you back or stop you from being happy with somebody else. But that's just my point of view. But I want y'all to let me know what y'all think. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Um, Make sure you tell people about this question and let me know what you think. All right, I'm gonna holla at y'all.